Good morning, moaners.
Good morning, coffee moaners. Welcome to Coffee Moaning. If this is your first time here, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps us out. It's just the two of us, and we really do appreciate your support.
Just the two of us.
We can make it if we try. Oh, just the two of us.
Anyone who's just subscribed is just unsubscribed.
You and I. Yep.
What's that?
That's me holding a microphone. Morning, everybody.
Morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm having a really nice black sheep coffee.
You're loving that coffee, aren't you?
Arabica.
I haven't tried that one yet.
It's creamy and it's divine.
I'm having my Yorkshire tea.
And what does it say? Bellend? Oh,
Bellend. I'm sorry.
No,
it's a special.
Morning, everyone. How are we all? Welcome to Coffee Moaning, your one-stop shop to have a moan about the news, about what's going on, about life, about the sun, anything.
Yeah, and today we're going to be talking about Masterchef John Terode being fired without his knowledge.
Him first hearing about it through the press.
Yeah, Trump's Epstein guilt. This is just fascinating, this story, and it is not going away.
It's
and
getting
it
worse.
Could possibly be the thing that does bring Trump down.
And
we thought he was infallible, but maybe the Epstein Files. You see, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. It's what got him to where he is.
Absolutely.
It's what got MAGA right up behind him.
Absolutely.
And he thought he could just then go to MAGA.
I think it's kind of, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But
Yeah,
it feels almost foolhardy if you are yourself implicated, that you would then use that as a kind of rallying call. Don't you think?
Well, I suppose it comes down to a lack of an IQ.
We'll talk about that.
We've got a very funny video of Trump explaining how incredibly high his IQ is. Yeah. And also, sorry, John.
And we've got police. We've got it's not really a story, but it is a clip in which Gaza protesters are arrested, or the police try to arrest Gaza, Free Palestine protesters for saying the simplest of things. If we're talking about free speech, and every morning you wake up to the Telegraph, the Times, the Sun, the Mail, saying two-tier police, two-tier this, free speech, this, Farage talking about free speech. And actually, if you say free Palestine, you run the risk of being called a terrorist, which is kind of
you should put that in the title, actually.
Couldn't fit it in. But anyway, but also we want to pay a back reference to, because we talked a lot about the Constance Martin story yesterday, and there was the shocking reveal. I've got the headline here, Nadia. The shocking reveal. Constance Martin. Do you want to just give us a grab on who she is?
Constance Martin, who's the aristocratic woman who married the ex-convict from. And sorry, I was surprised we were doing this.
Sorry.
So I didn't know we were doing this. But anyway,
no, it was just
that we talked about yesterday, who'd had her 4 children taken away from her, and then ran away with her husband with her 5th child, who very tragically died due to their neglect. And the story there's been so much more now that's come from around this story, especially his previous convictions.
Well, and I'll pop the headline
horrific. Well, I was actually going to do a bit of a separate video on this.
Oh, sorry, I just thought we just touched on that briefly.
So I'm going to do a separate video because I know there was a lot of people here yesterday that listened to the podcast like I did, and
Zoe saying it.
Zoe, it's just incredible, isn't it?
I'm just going to
the latest reveals
around
this.
I'm just going to pop this up again because it's just come up just to explain why I put
absolutely.
Just read it out for those listening. Mark Gordon, the guy she was obviously, I didn't realize they were married.
Yeah.
Mark Gordon threatened to murder the children of the woman he raped. This is the mother who describes how Gordon, he was a former, he'd been done for rape, he'd served time, subjected her to an hours-long ordeal, and this was just horrific. And it was
was when he was living in America. He was just 15, and he raped his neighbor.
But like Nadia said, she's going to look into it in more detail because she was asking about, the legalities around, all of that, the extent of that. When you sent that last night, I was horrified. And it was just one of those things where you think, well, why are we only finding it out?
But also the extent of the abuse, because yesterday I was, there was a lot of people here saying no sympathy for her, no sympathy. And I was saying that, in my opinion, it felt very much like she was a coercively controlled woman. Not at any point did she say that. But with more and more that is revealed about this monster of a man, I actually feel even more sorry for her. I genuinely do. I think she was deranged.
Are you suggesting, perhaps, possibly, that this is another one of those stories where the sort of public opinion can't tolerate the idea of the choices she's made around her children and everything, but refuses to acknowledge the control that she was possibly under in terms of him? You know, it's that idea of what I'm trying to tiptoe around this for political correctness. But you know, when you get like serial killers, it's usually the woman is demonized more than the man. And it is an odd proclivity of society that, and I think it comes from the fact that, you know, if you can be a mother and if you are a mother, it's so much, well, hang on a minute. How do we wash the hands? Why do men wash the hands of responsibility?
You know that over the years I've interviewed a lot of people that have been coercively controlled, and I've got a very big interest in domestic violence and all of that. Yeah. And so when you read into this story, it's way more complicated than she was just a bad mother. So I'm gonna, for those podcast lovers, let's go into it in a bit more detail.
So there's that. And also, obviously, I did a very brief live last night on the Emmy nominations. I think the big news from a British perspective is the success of Adolescence, the Stephen Graham series.
I'm really, really, really chuffed for them.
Yeah.
This was a massive story in all of our lives, wasn't it? I mean, I know we spoke about it a lot on here. We spoke about it on Loose Women. Countless articles written about this show, all kinds of really positive things came out of it, I think, and positive conversations. And certainly we carried on talking about it for weeks afterwards.
Absolutely.
Didn't we? I know, really thought-provoking.
Yeah, and it's received, I think, 13 nominations, which is more than Baby Reindeer got. I mean, not that it's a competition, but I mean, but it does speak to the success, you know, or the impact that it's had. But also Owen Cooper, the star, who's, I believe, 15 at the moment. He's currently shooting Wuthering Heights with Jacob Lordy.
God, listen to that. Wow.
And directed by, oh my God, what's her name? The woman who did Saltburn. What a show.
What's her name?
Fennell. Emerald Fennell or something. But yeah, he's the youngest youngest Emmy nominee for Best Supporting Actor.
Ever?
Emerald Fennell, for Best Supporting Actor.
Thank you, Reese.
Ever.
For Best but also, we all love Stephen so much, don't we? And he seems to be one of the really good guys within our business. He's always acknowledging all the others involved, crew, and even today, his post on his Instagram, it's the entire crew there saying
he's a team player.
He's a team bloody player.
Which is going to be a topic we come back to in a minute.
Love team players, and it is woefully undervalued in my business, that's for sure. Tell
us about it. I just want to quickly just tell you, in case you didn't see, but the other big winners or nominees were Severance, The Penguin, White Lotus,
The Penguin.
Delighted to see the comedy, my favorite comedy show of last year, The Studio, which was the Seth Rogen one.
Brilliant.
The Last of Us, thought it was awful. Andor, which is great, with Denise Gough, Free Palestine, and Hacks, of course. Hannah Einbinder and Jean Smart.
Stunning. Sensational series. Cannot recommend highly enough both Hacks and
The Penguin.
The Penguin. We loved them.
Absolutely. Okay, well, let's talk about Masterchef's John Terode. For those of you who don't know who he is, this is him. John Terode to leave Masterchef after allegations of using racist language. Now, yesterday, we were talking about the fact that he had admitted to making a racist comment that he couldn't recall. He doubted whether it had happened, but this was reported in,
He says he has no memory.
No memory of, but it was featured within, obviously, the report on Greg Wallace. It was quiet all day, and then suddenly the news broke, didn't it, Nads? And I texted you. You were at an appointment, and I texted you, and I said, "Oh my God, John Terode's just suddenly been fired," suggesting, okay, well, maybe what he said was maybe more serious, or what? It just seemed odd. And then To add another, shall I read it now or shall I carry on?
Just keep it, can you?
No. Oh. I can hold everything
okay,
there. But I thought I'd just read John Torode's statement, because his statement tells us what's kind of happened in the story. So he posted this on Instagram. Although I haven't heard from anyone at the BBC or Banijay, the production company, I'm seeing and reading that I've been sacked from Masterchef. So he's claiming not to have been told. And I repeat that I have no recollection of what I'm accused of. The inquiry could not even state the date of year or when I am meant to have said something wrong. I'd hoped that I'd have some say in my exit from a show I've worked on since its relaunch in 2005, but events in the last few days have prevented that. Over the past few months, I've been considering my life and the shape of it now and the future. Celebrity Masterchef, which I recently filmed with Grace Dent, along with 2 fantastic Christmas specials, will be my last. Personally, I've loved every minute working on Masterchef, but it's time to pass the cutlery to someone else for whoever takes over. Love it as I have. I will watch fondly from afar as I focus on the many other exciting projects I've been working towards. My tummy will be grateful for a rest after 20 years of eating, but what a joy it's been. Life is ever changing and ever moving, and sometimes personal happiness and fulfillment lie elsewhere. Thank you for the many years of MasterChef, John Terode. Now, just to put a bit of kind of detail on that, by all accounts, his agent was notified that the statement was going to be released 11 minutes before it was released. So,
and can we just pause on that?
Yeah.
I think that if that is true, I think that is absolutely disgraceful. Imagine that, guys. Okay, let's take it away from showbiz.
People are asking, what did he say? We still don't know.
We don't know. We don't know, but they said highly offensive.
Highly offensive.
But imagine that. Let's take this out of showbiz, because I think people do lose sort of sympathy for anybody in showbiz, don't they? And it's you've been fired, right? And your manager has told somebody else, and then it's put on the front of the local newspaper before you know. How would that leave you feeling after 20 years? I just think this is just, if it's true, it's outrageous that it wasn't decided that they would make the comment after he had been informed. It's just basic. It's just basic respect.
The only thing one could possibly surmise from it, and this is not based on any facts whatsoever, but for me, it feels so badly managed and badly handled.
How many times do we say that about managers in TV? Oh my God, BBC have done this so many times.
And I tell you what, I think we talked about it a bit with the Hugh Edwards and then the Philip Schofield. It's the way in which these channels can be fast in some areas, and as I think Gabrielle says,
that's the comment.
And as Gabrielle says, and totally devoid of any sort of immediacy or kind of urgency around others. Gabrielle says, what's the BBC's goal here? Trying to improve their reputation. They won't report anything on an ongoing genocide as a news institution, but they fire a chef for apologizing for making a mistake.
I just think it's not going to do them any favors if they are trying to go, wow, we're dealing with this and we're dealing with it very quickly, though this has obviously been going on for a while, the report. I think that the public who love MasterChef, and years ago, I judged the junior MasterChef alongside John Terode. I'm telling you, it's an incredibly difficult job. Okay. So the food that you're tasting is stone cold always, because all the shots have to be taken first. You've got people's hope right in your hands. You've got to think all day long of new things to say. It's a really, really hard job that you don't just want in and try food and eat food and just say something. So from his POV, that's 20 years of a hugely successful brand that has gone out across the world. Millions upon millions has been made. And if this is something that he said that he apologized for, apparently, though he doesn't remember any of it, if that's all that this is, does he not afford the respect to say we won't release the statement until he knows?
I mean, I think everyone is it's a little bit. I mean, it's a much lower level kind of interest, but I think everyone would like to know what was said. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but I mean, I think once again, if you don't put the detail, they've put the detail in of the things that Greg Wallace was accused of. It seems strange that someone somewhere recollects this very well for it to be something that's dismissible.
Do you know what? I think I disagree with needing to know what it was, because he has no memory of it. And the person that said it has said he apologized. I just don't understand it. And I think an audience that has invested in a show for 20 years and invested in the star of that show, that the BBC have been very happy to elevate and to publicise. But the audience it's not going to work for the audience, I don't think, the BBC, because they're going to say, hang on a minute, we can't just, that's not a reason.
I think Michu's right. I don't think it will damage Masterchef. It existed before them and it will exist after them. And there's Masterchef professionals. We've had precedent.
It didn't exist in the way that it was.
Not in the way that
it was
a whole.
It was one presenter and then it was a panel.
But I think it will exist beyond. But where I smell a rat is he won't have experienced unfair dismissal. He is a freelancer. He is contracted in for every series. He will have just been told they're not renewing your contract, which is, self-employed speak for you're fired, but it's not actually in employment law, you're fired. So in letting him go, in there being sort of not much detail in this instance, one can't help, and this is purely my speculation, it's not come from anywhere else, but just knowing how TV works. I just wonder whether there was a desire, for whatever reasons, to clear out completely the two of them. They felt that they got rid of. They knew they had to get rid of Greg.
Not fair that.
They've thought, well, in some way, possibly, is this just one of? I mean, there are the Mail are running a story saying there are other issues or instances of inappropriateness or whatever. Possibly.
I don't think you should be able to just keep putting smoke out if you haven't got the actual fire, because it's not fair.
No.
I think of lovely Lisa Faulkner as well, his wife. Yeah. And I just think if there is something tangible, say it, but stop this sort of like whipping up people aren't going to stop talking about, well, what was it? Well, what is it?
Reese, hi Reese. Yeah, sorry, I know I messaged you earlier today. Reese Roberts says, Nadia Hussein's interview. She was also, she's claimed that the BBC, when they didn't renew her contract, said to her, just say you're concentrating on new projects. Nadia Hussein's interview detailed a lot of the mistreatment at the hands of her colleagues at the BBC and the discrimination and not getting support from HR. Look, the thing about television is it's brutal. You're wanted, you're not wanted. And the one thing I can tell you, and I'm not going to name names, but I can think of numerous presenters that I've worked with, you're never going to be told to your face you're not wanted. Television doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, it's such a two-faced industry.
Oh my God.
Where management and executives and producers, and I'm saying this as a producer, I mean, I hate that. I was always an advocate for sit down with your presenter and be dog's bollocks honest with them and just say, look, the channel are a bit this, the channel is saying that, because I don't want to be the person who's pretending this isn't happening. It's the same. It's not just like that with, and people can think of many instances. It's not just with presenters. I know we talk about presenters because they're showbiz and it's very exciting. I have to say, when you hear how many productions, producers and teams talk about contributors, and I always have much more of a loyalty to members of the public who are contributors rather than, as you do. Yeah, I mean, Nadia is one of the best presenters. Always has been when we first worked together with contributors. You take a genuine
contributors.
Interest.
That means
members
like
of the public.
Members of the public.
I would always say to a production team, when we walk into this family's house and we're about to film and move everything around,
it's a massive deal.
Yeah, for them, this is the biggest moment, not in their lives, but for
it's massive. They'll talk about it all their lives. Like I had ITV round, I had BBC round, and they did this with my kitchen. It's a massive deal, and you don't just come in, use, abuse, and swan out.
But I've had experience where you're sitting with commissioning editors, executives, and they're just like, oh, we'll just drop them, and you're like, hang on a minute, whoa, we're not talking about presenters even here. Just drop them. I said, no, they're committed. They've said yes. They've shifted this. They've done. No, we don't need them. Demographically, we're done. Yeah. And what happens is, if you're not, I mean, and I am saying I was more of an exception than normal. Yeah, but the business side of it, I could never get on board with that side of it. It was too brutal.
But do you not think it's like that in all business?
Well, it is to a degree, but I think there is due process elsewhere.
I think it's the freelancer thing, isn't it? Yes. Because you're self-employed.
Yeah.
You have zero. You have zero. What's the word? Rights. rights. Yeah, you just don't have any rights.
I can guarantee you that although it looks glamorous and lovely being a presenter, being on-screen talent, when you're not wanted, there's nothing worse, because actually, and this speaks to the mental health of people on screen too. No one on screen, unless you're an absolutely demonic narcissist, no one on screen has any total confidence that they're wanted. It's like actors. It's like, you know, there's always the fear, there's always the worry, there's always the nervousness. And the terrible thing about television and as an industry, and it's been like this in Hollywood for years.
Do you think it's the same for directors and producers? All the freelancers. Our business has a lot of freelancers. And a lot of times when people are badly treated, they won't say anything because of the hierarchy is so, like, the division. Like, if somebody's on screen, you know, you don't say anything about them. And that's why we had absolute disasters, horror stories, true horror stories like Jimmy Savile. You know, I spoke about this before, that I know people that worked with him that made complaints. And it was like, well, it's just something we can do. We're about to go on air, you know, this sort of thing. But I do think that would be the same across all businesses, really, wouldn't it? I mean, you have CEOs that you wouldn't say. There's hierarchies in every business.
No, but where I disagree is you can't, in other businesses,
most people are employees.
Exactly.
It's the lack
it's
of
the
being
ability
employed.
to let someone fade away.
Yeah.
And television is a great fan of just letting people fade away, so that no one in an office.
It's a 0 hours.
So hang on, so that no one in an office with the safe job and the pension and everything else has to have had that awkward conversation and say, actually, you're not wanted. That never happens.
Yeah.
It rarely happens. It clearly didn't even happen for John Terode. They just did it.
Yeah. But that's where you just hope that decency comes in, a decency that just says, just let us know once you've told him, and then we'll release the statement. I just think those moments of just being a good human are very important.
Okay, well, that's John Terode. So let's move over to Donald Trump and Epstein. Now, the Epstein Files, this issue will not go away for Donald Trump. Quite a few stories were breaking yesterday. US House Speaker Mike Johnson, who has up until now, well, he's literally walked in synchronized step with Donald Trump throughout his presidency. Mike Johnson, huge ally, has called for the release of the Epstein Files amid a backlash that is going on now for Donald Trump. Most of it, what you need to understand is,
tell us about this guy. He's a big deal,
MAGA, you know, Make America Great, that bedrock of support for Donald Trump. One of the key things that they wanted him to do was get in and unpeel the horrors of kind of government and the rich and all the nastiness that they all got up to. And just to interject there, this core MAGA, because we follow a lot about what goes on in America and for a lot of podcasts and stuff, it's always been said that nothing will crack the hardcore MAGA, like nothing. Anything that he does, he's excused for. They make up a story. But this is hardcore MAGA now are shaking, which was never going to happen. So the big news is, so Mike Johnson's really senior Republican, major. He's head of the House of Representatives. He's a leading, you know, he's in control of the Republicans really on Capitol Hill. He's Trump's man, and he's instrumental. Now, the headlines that are running are this: US House Speaker Mike Johnson calls for release of Epstein Files amid backlash. Democrats demand Pam Bondi, Attorney General, and Kash Patel, head of the FBI, be summoned for an Epstein hearing. This was happening yesterday. And yesterday, the other Republican senators moved to block a Democratic effort to force through the release of the Epstein Files. Now, one of the things that I believe is going to happen here, and I actually think this is what Mike Johnson, what I think you're going to start to hear and see is Trump, Pam Bondi, all of the government. YouTube, you're on the money with this. They're going to say, let's release something.
Right.
They're going to throw some red meat. They're going to go back, because he's already now said, if there's something of interest or relevance, I think that's the language Donald Trump's used, maybe Pam Bondi. So what they're going to do is curate a release. And as YouTube says, MAGA will not necessarily know the difference. I don't think MAGA's that stupid. I certainly don't think the representatives of it, the Tucker Carlsons and the Joe Rogans and all that lot.
Yeah, I mean, he will dig in. Sink.
Exactly.
But also, it wouldn't be easy to do that because the records go back and back and back. I mean, I think if they tried to fudge that would probably really bring about their collapse.
But look at the headlines, and obviously the headline doesn't speak to the full story, but Mike Johnson has calls for release. When you dig into what he's calling for, he's saying, let's get something, he actually says, let's get something out there so that we can move on to dealing with proper stuff now. They all want to they've got to think of a way to get around it, because this runs the risk of completely disrupting.
So who do you think knows?
Well,
he obviously doesn't know what's in there, that one.
Mike Johnson.
Pam Bondi does.
I don't even necessarily know if Pam Bondi does. The problem with I think Pam Bondi possibly does.
Well, she must do.
But I wonder whether...
And that's why Trump is not throwing her under the bus, because everyone said she's going to be thrown on the bus. She's going to be used as the red meat. But if he does that, she's the one that's read the files.
The problem with all of it is, I'm teeny tiny, like I'm MAGA, not hardcore, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Trump is waiting for the right time. So you don't think Trump is implicated at all in this? I mean, even though his biographers said there are Polaroids of him, even though he was next door neighbors with Epstein. I mean, I think what Trump is looking to do is airbrush the release of whatever they release, which, to be brutally honest with you, I find confusing. That's what I always thought they were planning on doing when they were bloody putting this at the center of the MAGA kind of, hey, we're going to reveal Epstein, but we're only going to reveal Epstein, the Epstein Files, apart from the Trump bit.
Yeah, underage girls were trafficked, right? How can you dismiss this as, this guy, he's just nothing. Almost this is boring. And anyone that continues to ask the questions is stupid. That cuts deep when people have campaigned on that. MAGA campaigned on and on that finally the paedophiles, the sex offenders were going to be found. And, they voted him in on the guy that was going to tell the truth and not be responsible for any more cover-ups, and yet nothing has ever felt more obvious as a cover-up than this.
Also, the caveat is, this is all in my opinion, this is also, as the likes of Tucker Carlson have stated or claimed, this is all tied up with Mossad, Israel, and the genocide, whether you like it or not.
Even Stephen Marks from LBC said, who we love, he said, Stephen Marks,
no,
is it?
Is it Stephen?
Marks.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry.
Or Mark Stevens. Yeah. He's their American correspondent on LBC. Did you see him saying yesterday, what has before been spoken as a conspiracy theory, in all honesty, can no longer just be looked at as a conspiracy theory? He said, this needs to be looked into. Believe
you and me, there is no coincidence that Netanyahu was in the White House, not securing any kind of fucking notional, stupid, meaningless ceasefire that only ever suits Netanyahu. He was not there it was not coincidental that he was there the same week that all of this is blowing up at this time. The other point I'd like to make is that so this is directly connected. This is all inextricably entwined. And what you've got happening here, Nadia was asking earlier, why haven't the Democrats, why didn't they do anything about it before? The reasons for there being all these gyrations and convulsions and a sort of please reveal it from some quarters, but no appetite to reveal them from others. The list and the behavior and the crimes spread across all political persuasions. The one consistency is that they were all people of power and influence. Now, someone was talking the other day, importantly, I think it was actually weirdly Weinstein's brother, who's this kind of podcaster. Just because you're on the flight list to Epstein's Island in no way, shape or form means you were engaging in illegal activity. It was interesting what he said. He was plugged into many different worlds and realms. So it doesn't follow. But what there is, and what we know from leaked footage and leaked filming of people like Pam Bondi and what have you, there are tens of thousands of clips and files and videos and films. And I do want to clarify something and correct something that I said yesterday. Someone pulled me up on this and said, please don't use the phrase underage girls. If they're underage girls, they're children. And that is a valid point.
Right.
Isn't it weird, this choice of language?
No, you're not. Are you a child if you're 15?
Under 16? Yes.
Yeah, I suppose you are. Yeah.
We use this
It's a very good point.
Yeah, no, and I thought it was a really important point. We use underage girls. It's almost like
we do.
It's partaking in this strange limbo area between legality and illegality.
Thank you, whoever said that. Yeah. Power of words. Power of words.
And so let's not beat around the bush here. This is illegal, profoundly illegal behavior and activity has happened here. It is, in my opinion, inextricably entwined with intelligence services in America and Mossad and Israel. And I think it speaks to why we're seeing such appeasement and a lack of fucking effort around calling Israel to account.
And what's really important to say is to bring up Mossad, and this is what all the podcasts are saying, to bring up Mossad and suggest this is not anti-Semitic. They are an intelligence organization.
Anti-Mossad, anti-Israel.
That do not have something to do with every Jewish person in the world. You know, they're not representing every Jewish person in the world. They're an intelligence organization, just like MI5 or FBI or CIA, of which the world has a right to question, because they're the people that go around the back and do shit, and every country has them. And every intelligence organization does dodgy stuff.
I'm going to show you.
But actually, my question wasn't why did the Democrats not reveal the files. My question, I don't know if anybody here knows it. What excuse did they give? I understand that they wouldn't have released them because there could be somebody in there from the Democrats. But what was their excuse? Why was it never revealed? Because he's giving the excuse of there's nothing of any interest on there.
Well, even though he campaigned on the idea that there was loads of interest. Yeah. So what you're asking is, when he was campaigning, we need to reveal this, why were Biden's lot not saying? Oh, because I think they're all implicated, babe.
No, but did they ever give a reason as to why they weren't released?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's a very good question. This is Donald Trump caught on the hoof on the tarmac overnight.
I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled? Why do you think that is?
Why they would be so interested? He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody.
Because you never stop talking about it.
It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
Children.
Credible information. What is credible information? So you get used to this word. Credible information is going to be the word used for whatever they dribble into the public realm. But when he says only bad people are interested, he's actually throwing, I don't know if you know that, teeny tiny lass, he's throwing MAGA under the bus.
Only bad people are interested in this. What people that actually are outraged by the fact that children were sex trafficked, not underage girls, children were sex trafficked. Interesting.
Also, Stormbreaker asks this question. I want to give you my opinion on this. So why is Europe staying away from condemning Israel? That was sickening yesterday. What is it they are waiting to see? I'll tell you why. Because this is inextricably entwined with the leaderships and the culture of the top brass in Europe too. We are all inextricably entwined with America. And I'm telling you now, I think we underestimate, YouTube has been saying it for a long time, the extent to which Israel has compromised our own national security. We can't come out as I'm not saying this is the reason, it's pure fucking yellow-bellied chickenness and an inability to fucking be principled, and it's cowardly, and they've been bought and they've been compromised, and they're illegal, I find, our government, in their attitude to Israel and supporting the genocide. But all of it is entwined with this. I think
how many more top legal people do we have to hear say the countries that are turning a blind eye to this are complicit in the genocide? They are complicit. There ain't no difference. Yesterday's front cover of the New York Times was "This is a genocide." Again, wasn't it, by yet another genocide expert? It's like,
you know, you've got a problem when even Joe Rogan is querying everything.
And all of a sudden they don't. You know, you have the director of the FBI on the show saying there's no, if there was, nothing you're looking for is on those tapes. Like, what? Why did they say there was thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible? Why did they say that?
Yeah, she said it literally, I think, a week before you had the FBI director sitting here telling you there was nothing, right?
She said something about that there was like thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible crimes.
There is. And didn't the FBI dude say that there was nothing?
Cash Patel said there's nothing you're looking for. Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to push back.
Right. No, of course. I
obviously, he's saying what he has to say.
Right.
Mystery surrounds the Jeffrey Epstein files after Bondi claims tens of thousands of videos. Tens of thousands. Jesus Christ. The comment made to reporters at the White House days after a similar remark to a stranger with a hidden camera raised the stakes for President Donald Trump's administration to prove it has in its possession previously unseen compelling documents, or just bomb Iran and everybody forgets.
Just bomb Iran, yeah.
Everybody forgets about it.
Buy me around and everybody forgets. I mean, tens of thousands of tapes. That's got to be a cause for concern.
God. Wow.
What I'm encouraged by is that these people like Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, speak to the fact that regardless of your political position, I don't know if they chime with you, teeny tiny lass, but regardless of their political position, you know, whether we agree or not, I agree with the way in which they are going after this or focusing on this. This is a point of principle. It breaches political kind of position. This is about, again, morality. And in the same way, isn't it weird how the world can't do that around? If anyone else on the planet was doing what Israel was doing, everyone would be condemning them. Everyone would be in agreement, as they are about Russia with Ukraine. I mean, it's just astonishing. So we've all been compromised. All our governments, all our leaders, all those in power have been compromised. And I'm telling you now, in my opinion, it's Mossad and Israel.
It's not anti-Semitic to question an intelligence service.
It really isn't. It really isn't. And if you make it that, then you yourself are part of the problem. But on that note, let's have a think about IQ. What do you think your IQ is?
I don't think I've got one. Especially today. My brain is absolutely bananas.
Your brain is sensational.
No, thank you. Is that what you like most about me?
No. But let's have a listen to Donald Trump talking about,
He was
IQs.
joking, by the way, there.
Yeah. God almighty.
I think she's very nice, but she's very low IQ. And we really don't need low IQ. Between her and Crockett, we're going to give them both an IQ test to see who comes out best. Now, I took my test. I took a real test at Walter Reed Medical Center, and I aced it. I got every one of all those questions right. Now it's time for them to take a test. Anyway, have a good...
Do you notice the way how much relish he had when he said, I aced it? Genuinely looking
I don't need
to
see the results of an IQ test to give his IQ number there. I mean, everything that he says there is embarrassingly stupid.
He's got the IQ of a plastic bottle.
Is a whip smart.
Whip
smart. They say one of the hardest working politicians. He says she's nice, and then he'll be talking about her legs, probably. Let's face it.
Yeah.
She's nice. Oh, she's not nasty. She's nice, but she has a low IQ. Oh, my God. So when you do an IQ test, do you know there and then whether you've got questions right or wrong? It doesn't work like that, does it? I don't think I've ever done it.
I think there are certain kind of IQ tests that you can do. I wonder if his IQ...
I bet there's different kinds of IQ tests.
I wonder if his IQ can wrap his head around the fact that the Wired magazine has issued a second article this morning. I'm just going to remove that just for a second.
If you have a look, can you get a low IQ and still be quite smart?
Yeah, you can be.
Is it a very
particular
kind of? Is it a very particular kind of intellectual prowess?
Yes. But I just want to share this detail because I forgot to pop it up. The FBI's Jeffrey Epstein prison video, don't be fooled. It doesn't have 1 minute cut from it. The metadata reveals that 2 minutes, 53 seconds have been removed from one of the two stitched together clips.
But Pam Bondi says every single day, 1 minute, for 1 minute, all videos are stopped. That's what she said.
I mean,
as they replace the videos.
It's become madness now. Total fucking. It's become insane. Should we watch a funny?
Yeah,
you'll love this one, Nads.
Let's have a break.
You're gonna like this. You might have seen it, but. So she smashes her head.
I'm still low. Oh.
And the caption says, "How have you been processing your emotions lately?"
She is a
Look
genius.
at her friend on the floor. Check the girl. Check the child next to her.
That's it.
It's watch.
What's going to happen next? So sweet.
It's that lovely moment when you just don't know which way your child's going to go. Are they going to? And when you think, oh, they're laughing, you're like, we've aced that one. That's fantastic.
Police free speech.
Yes. So I'm just going to show you a clip. This is I've forgotten where this was. Palestinian Action in Brixton posted this. I'm not too sure if it's in London, but let me just.
My intention is to wave this flag and keep Palestine in the public consciousness right now.
So do you support any prescribed group?
I do not support any prescribed group.
Okay.
I support a free Palestine and the end of genocide.
The way that you're behaving at the moment would lead me to believe that you may be. Give me suspicion
What?
of grounds to believe you could be.
What suspicion? That I've got a sign that says Free Gaza, holding a Palestinian flag, and I have a sign that says Israel is committing genocide.
My colleagues explained that the support of this, mentioning freedom of Gaza, Israel, genocide, all of that, all will come under prescribed groups, which are terror groups that have been dictated by the government, all right, which we have suspicion to suggest that you're supporting, based on your actions here in a city with the flags and the posters you've got up, right? If you don't provide us with your name and address, those are necessities for us to arrest you for offences against terrorism acts for being part of a prescribed group. Express an opinion or belief that is supportive of a prescribed organisation. Now that you have done.
But that's ridiculous. You could end up arresting half the country
I didn't
for
make
that.
the legislation. If you're found down the high street later on, you'll probably find yourself arrestable for that offence. Because you've been warned not to.
So I can never do this again in Canterbury, in Kent.
It's an offence.
But now I can never hold this in public ever again.
Holding a flag, if you had just a flag, we'd probably say, be careful what you do.
Free Gaza?
Free Gaza, which is supporting and a sign of Israel committing genocide would be in line with
what you're doing is giving us suspicion. We only need 2 out of 10 to give us suspicion that you support a Palestinian.
Amazing.
Wow.
So this well done, Labour. Well done.
I feel sick to my stomach.
You know what? Because at first I thought they were being just pedantic in that way that you realize.
So we better expect a knock on the door then.
That you realise some police officers just, there's a certain sort of letter, good. But as he started to explain it in more detail, what I found interesting about the clip was he began to reveal just how compromised the Labour Party have made everyone if they want to enact it.
Wow.
Fascist state, says DC.
So free Palestine. He's ticked 2 out of 5, and Israel is committing a genocide, right? So what everybody needs to do now is to carry around with them the list of genocide experts from around the world who have now deemed it to be a genocide. That I cannot believe is the law.
And we've got
So next time we're on a march, is everybody going to possibly have to be stopped by the police and questioned as to whether they are part of a prescribed terrorist group?
You know what I'd love at this point is to drag Farage and a Reform representative in and say, where is your declaration of the importance of freedom of speech here? I know we've got some Reform supporters. Genuinely, why would a Reform supporter not be as outraged by this as they are by the idea that they can't say anything?
Speech.
This is freedom of speech.
Wow.
So if you tick 2 boxes and add your watermelon top, probably ticks 1.
Yeah. Is that a knock on the door? Oh my God. What do you think of that, guys? What
They're
do you
horrified.
think?
They're sickened. Donna Holland, I feel sickened. Braxton, finger pointing game.
It's unbelievable.
Jordan Rodway, if I have a shirt with a watermelon on and on the back it says Free Palestine, is that 2 or 1 bits of evidence against me?
Excellent point, Jordan.
Really good point. Hannah Nuneaton, this is the police showing how they're not for protecting people. They are there to protect ideologies.
Yep.
Teeny Tiny Lass, I've learned so much about the Gaza situation from you two. If people didn't speak out, others wouldn't learn. Thank you, my darling. Ninad, Ben Shapiro says, who said the conflict portrayed in the movie does not compare to Israel and Gaza? This is about Superman because it does not match up to the facts. It can only be seen that way by those with left-wing brain. The police are underfunded and have no time for real crime, apparently, says DP. Clodagh, you're living in a nanny state.
But also, you know, you could see from that police officer, he wouldn't know the difference between Gaza and Guildford. You know, the way it came out of his mouth, he knew nothing.
No.
He knew nothing about the situation. And he's like reading off. He's reading off. If he'd taken that guy in, come on. That would have lasted 2 seconds, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Would he, or would he have ended up in court? I don't know.
Tony Loza, my neighbour got egged for having the Palestinian flag up. She got cautioned for having the flag on show and had to take it down, whereas the egger got nothing.
Oh, I'm just thinking about, can't say what, about what the police said about certain thing through the window to us.
Oh, yeah. I thought you couldn't, yeah. Dottie Woozle, this is an exemplar of normalised police behaviour. They abuse their powers all the time to get expedient results.
Jesus Christ.
Shocking, isn't it? It's shocking.
A man standing there with Free Palestine and Israel is committing a genocide. And they thought they had enough suspicion to accuse him of being part of a prescribed terrorist group.
And finally, shall
God.
we play your strange, bizarre, unbelievable commercial?
You won't believe this. It's for coffee.
Anyone ever seen this Maxwell Coffee House commercial? My wife's the crew.
The first beautiful weekend after we got married, I took my new bride sailing. Wife, I said, marriage is a democracy, but a sailboat isn't. Here, the captain gives orders to the crew. Me, captain, you, crew. First order, Maxwell House coffee. See? Blue can, good to the last drop.
I can see it.
Maxwell House. Smell it. That's the way coffee should smell. Now, taste it. Maxwell House. Never bitter, never stale, always good to the last drop. So, on this ship, it's Maxwell House and nothing else, or somebody walks the plank. And if you'd be a good little Maxwell House wife and serve it at home, too, I'd be so grateful. Maxwell House coffee from General...
What the fuck?
Good God.
That's what we grew up taking in to our little brains.
I wonder we're all totally fucked. Jesus Christ.
Isn't that unbelievable?
I mean, it makes you realise we all sort of benevolently think of the Flake advert, but actually when you go back and think of all the probably horrible male TV execs promoting all of that, you sort of think, oh, God.
Looks ridiculous, doesn't it, Clodagh? It is scary, Minnie. It is scary. We blaming everything on social media and all of what's happening and porn and but look at that messaging. I wouldn't have thought anything of that when I was a kid and watching that.
Frightening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Frightening.
Yeah. And there wouldn't have been any conversations around it either.
No.
Wouldn't have had a conversation with my parents. Because if something popped up like that now with our kids and with most parents nowadays, we'd go, and there'd be a big conversation about it. But no, we were all just blithely going around having all this stuff fed into our impressionable brains.
And someone mentions page 3 there, and I think page 3 speaks to the problem with using the phrase underage girls, because I've said it before.
Did they used to say that?
We used to talk. Well, there was huge kind of emphasis given to when a girl, and my mum, all her, had just become 18. I think it might have been that they were allowed to have women topless 16 to 8. I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
It might
yeah.
have been, but it was all about getting it as
It was
close
so
to legality.
important to get that stopped, wasn't it? It
16 was the age for page 3.
And the abuse that feminists took for disagreeing with that, the abuse.
Yeah.
Where are all the feminists now?
Yeah. Well,
Where are
a lot
all
of
the
them are
feminist
old.
groups
Yeah.
for you know, for the women of Gaza? Where are they?
Yeah.
Where are they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Hit the subscribe button, guys.
Sarah, morning both. Sarah here, met Nadia at Brutiful Tales. Spoke about mental health recently.
Hi,
Took
darling.
your
How are you
advice,
doing?
had a break from news, feel calmer. Thanks again. Keep doing what you do without whispering.
Yeah,
Sarah
and
Jane.
listen,
Thank you.
sweetheart, don't get too deep into the news. You only need to check it once a day.
Yeah.
All
right, everyone. Well, look, thanks for sharing all of your thoughts, all of your comments, all of your ideas, all of your information. It's a two-way street, so thank you. Do subscribe if you haven't. How to Stay Married will be landing later.
And we're about to do a, we're about to record that, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Lots of